Hello, Brother Monroe here. Welcome to Brother Monroe reads the patch notes for the brand new version 105 update. This is a beta version. If you are wondering how you get access to it early, then you need to right-click on Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts in your Steam library and opt into the beta. It'll say, "Oh, put in a code." Just don't put anything. Press OK, and it will download the latest update. So, what can we look forward to? First of all, we have an expanded map to include the Mediterranean Sea and a larger portion of Europe. Very exciting. I'll try and show that off. I haven't seen anything past the patch notes. New nations, Italy, France, and Austria-Hungary, have been added to the major nations. And the nations form two rival alliances and fight with each other for total victory. I don't know if that's random or if that's preset. We know it's temporary, though, until the full campaign comes out. Task forces, so you can now assign task forces. I'm not sure quite how that works, but it sounds like you can make a fleet and move them around and give them new sea rolls, which we'll see down here. We have refit mode, which is very cool. So we can upgrade ships that we already have. Again, I will need to actually have a look at this to see how it works. New sea rolls, doesn't list what they are in the change log, but I'm very curious to see what that's about. We have the new politics tab, which is going to have the diplomacy in it, but presumably that's all locked at the moment. The economy growth to GDP, we know that's something to do with transports. You'll be warned when you end the turn with the danger of going bankrupt. That's really good because it's really easy to do it accidentally. That's a good change. And we get a tooltip for fleets over in a sea region. Interesting. Balance, maintenance cost is less. I think I'm reading that right. Maintenance costs have been reduced. Good, because it was the case that you could kind of have a fleet at sea, and it was more expensive to keep them at sea than it was to have them in dry dock, removing torpedo holes and stuff like that. So that's good. Tech research is balanced to be faster. Yes, I think that's good, because before we really didn't see much in the way of tech actually getting researched during these short campaigns. Tech priorities are also improved. That's good. Various other balances, again, don't know. New hulls, no list. These may be coming later, of course. This looks very similar to the patch notes we put up on the forum. Customization of beam and draft. Again, really interested to see this. New components for AP and HE round ratio, so you can, load up on AP rounds. But you will run out. This will basically mean that ships run out of ammunition a bit more, so increased ammunition is going to be much more useful. HE and AP shell types. Now, I am vaguely familiar with these. I think this is a progression. As in, these get better and better, but I'll have to see the actual stats for them. We now have an option to avoid ships. That's pretty cool. I like that. You can turn it off. You can turn off the avoidance system, which is fantastic. We can also control ammo for the secondary guns ourselves, which is cool, because previously the game would do this, but only if you had the ship on AI auto control for the shells. But now you can set it yourself. This is really cool. Improved ballistics and gun aiming. So this is basically a more realistic way of shooting. So you try and get the range and bracket the enemy, and then you go hell for leather. And it's all automatic. I'm really interested to see that work. New ship buoyancy mechanics. Interaction with waves is now more characteristic, so you can kind of see your offsets, your pitch and roll, and the effects that your basically, we should be now able to see, or at least that's what I'm interpreting from this, kind of how your ship is in terms of its handling, which is really nice. Exponential speed limit for hulls. This is, personally, I think this is a good change. If you try and make ships go stupidly fast, then it becomes stupidly heavy, so you can't really do it. Overpen reworked. Okay, that's fine. Improved flooding mechanics. This is really interesting. So if you take a flooding hit, the flooding can go past just the section that gets hit, or the sections right next to it. So like a torpedo boat, you could kind of hit it on the back, and it would never sink because it was sailing away from you. You could only hit it in the aft section, in the stern, and then you could never sink the damn thing because you needed to get a hit on the forward section to actually flood it out. But now if you keep hitting, if you keep causing flooding, it can progress throughout the whole ship, which is good. HE, you now get a new tooltip. So I think this is on the guns. So yeah, okay. And so basically it shows you the AP and the HE at the same time. Okay, that's good. Crew scaling, which again is good. Added support for the beam draft instability into the battle UI. So presumably when you hover over the component thing. Save file system improved. So the invalid design bug, the floating guns, stuff like that should be fixed. It also means all your previous saves are gone, which is why all of the Battleship League videos for Division 4 will be on 104, and going forward they're going to be on 105, because I knew this was on the way. Weight cost balances, again, there's no real detail, but we can have a look. Dunite is now available in later tech years, which is interesting, and we now have Radar 3, which is cool. Some visual effects. There's a new mission, apparently. These things could be added later. The mission and the hulls. I'll have to see. Battle AI improvements, just in general, which is good, and some bug fixes as well, which is nice. None of them are ones that I noticed, apart from maybe this one. This one did tend to turn up and cause a bit of an issue. So there we go. That's the patch notes. And if you go to new campaign, yes, you will find new options. Just out of interest, yes. So if your campaigns remain unlocked, let's jump into a French one. I'm curious to see what happens, and what the new map looks like, and then I'll hop into a custom battle. I will be doing campaigns, looking at the new things. I'm probably going to do this one, the French 1890 campaign, and yeah, no, it has gone past November. Good. And then I'll probably skip 1900, and then do probably Austria-Hungary 1910. And then again I'll skip the 1920 campaign, and I might do a 1930s Italy campaign. I think that could be interesting. Oh well, this looks really different. So the map used to end just here after Danzig, but now goes all the way to St. Petersburg. So we actually have Russian ports on the map, which is cool. And here we have the Austro-Hungarian ports, Italian ones. I like. Oh, and yes, interesting. The UK gets Malta. They get Gibraltar as well. They do, and they put the Spanish ports on. Okay, that's very cool. Very cool indeed. So, I'm not sure if this is randomly generated or not. Does it tell us here? Oh, that's very Rule the Waves. So, okay, so France is us. So our enemies are Germany and Austro-Hungary. Britain's also at war with Germany and Austria-Hungary. And so is Italy. So why do I not see the British up here? This is not scrollable, by the way. I'm trying that. Interesting. It does tell you here, though, their fleet. And their financials, which is interesting. Okay. I'm just wondering why it's... Oh, of course. That's us and our enemies. Yeah. So, that is interesting. So, that is very interesting. That might be hard locked, that it's Germany and Austria-Hungary versus Britain, France, and Italy? But I don't know. It is very interesting, though. What are these blue lines? Is that blue line? Interesting. So much to take on board here. And the red lines. This could be where our ships are going, maybe? We've got a move from Sunless to the North Sea. Okay, so this is a predicted route, perhaps? Move from Barry to North Sea. Okay, interesting. What about our ships? Do we have anything? So here, we've got a bunch of ships. So if I move ships, I don't know, here. Ah, that creates a task force that will sail around and park themselves just here. I forget the name of those straits, that's really bad. Okay, and they'll follow this route, so... Okay, I wonder what these other lines are. They could be... Ah, it's the Italians. The Italians have decided to send their entire fleet to the Baltic. Okay, that makes total sense. But yeah, that is really, really interesting. Really interesting. Okay, well, what about research? I mean, those numbers still look quite long, but I'll leave that. I'm just gonna. I'm wondering if the food don't crash. Hot code. We don't have the refit button because we haven't progressed, but I'm going to back out very quickly. I wanted to have a look just very quickly at a custom battle. Just very quickly. Did the French have a modernized dreadnought before? Without a list of what the new hulls are, I'm a bit at a loss. Anyway, I'm curious to see. So here we have beam and draft. What does it do? Oh, it does. Oh, I like that. It seems to go a bit weird at one point. But that is interesting. So you can have a thick hull or a thin hull. Very interesting. What does that do in terms of the stats? Beam -9. Ah, okay. so it's a choice. So if you have a negative beam, you lose accuracy, increases your acceleration, turning rate, your range, decreases your engine weight, means you take more damage. Okay, and if you go the other way, wait, what? That's a very narrow ship. If you've got a fat ship, a little bit less accuracy, -8 versus -10. Okay. Has also increased pitch and roll, I notice. Less accuracy penalty from sea waves. Take less damage, presumably because there's more ship. Sloped design increases ricochet chance. Okay, so if I have a thin ship... Interesting. And if I just keep it neutral? So zero beam? Yeah, it imposes a bunch of stuff anyway. So it's already -10 accuracy. So if you have a thicker ship, that makes it a bit better. Okay, that makes sense. What about draft? What's that doing to my thing? So if you have it low... okay, there's so much to take in here. That is giving you that slope design. What does it actually look like? Yeah, that one's much harder to identify what's going on. But yeah, you can see the ship lifting out of the water here. Okay, interesting. And we still have the displacement slider as well. I thought maybe they might replace this with a length slider and then have displacement calculated dynamically, but appears not. I'm just going to get the AI to actually build me a ship so I can have a look at the other things. Obviously, what year is this? 1920 or something. We're not going to have all the options, so I might jump back with a 1940 ship in a minute. But I'm curious just to have a little look. Wow, you're taking your time, AI. Don't normally take this long. This is common, by the way, with the new updates. Hey, that's not a bad ship. That's not a bad ship at all. Good job, AI. Thank you. Yeah, where are we? Here. This is the new stuff. Standard ratio main shells. You can increase in 2 steps either way. Standard ratio. I wonder what it gives you. Does it tell me? No, it just says ammo 200 per gun. I like what they call it, a bursting charge now. That is cool. And then we have... Yeah, the different... Oh, they're all available. Okay, cool. So incendiary, so this is high explosive shells. Incendiaries give you more damage, they cause more fires, and they're lighter. They have less range. Fuse time? Fuse time? Okay, I'm not even sure what that does. Presumably that means that it just explodes on the outside of the ship, like as soon as it hits something. Hence the lower penetration as well. Then we have HCHE, high capacity. Yeah, fuse time's a bit longer. Does a lot of damage. Yikes. Nose fused. Yeah, less fuse time. Less damage than the high capacity. Okay, base fused. Right. Soft cap. Gives you good pen, but it's nowhere near as damaging, and gives you extra range. And then I mean, that's basically... That's a very interesting round to use. Because that has got quite good pen... That is interesting. Okay, and then what about our AP shells? So we've got semi-armor piercing... Semi-ballistic... Standard AP shells. Okay. Shell ricochet angle modifiers. My goodness. Okay. Well, that's very interesting. That you have that, because I mean, basically, what that's doing is reducing. That's changing the angles at which you're going to get a pen, or compared to a ricochet. And as far as I can tell, that's reducing the minimum angle and increasing the maximum angle, which is good. So there's a wider angle that it will work at. That is very interesting. And then we have a capped shell, which is the same but better, I would argue. But you do a little bit less damage. And then we have capped ballistic. Very interesting. And then we have improved cap ballistics. So you're losing damage, like raw damage, but you're increasing the chance that you will actually get a pen, and you will do damage inside as well, which seems to be a thing with that shell fused. Oh, there's so much to digest just in that. Oh my goodness. They tweet what RDF does? No. And we don't have any look at that. That is very interesting, though. I wonder if go to 1914. Let's try Italy. Okay, I'm pretty sure Italy didn't have this many ships. I don't remember them having a modernized dreadnought. That one they definitely had already. And I think this one as well. But that's super. Did they really have a super? I can't remember. That is so bad. The towers look actually really interesting. I think this is a new hull. Hey AI, give me a hull based on that, would you? Give me that. This is interesting. Very interesting. Okay. I'm just curious what they went for. Capped ballistic HE shells and APC capped AP shells. Triple base. TNT. Oh, so cool. All this expansion. But here we have the Radar 3 compared to the Gen 2. So Gen 2 gives you 30% gun aiming speed, 55% long range accuracy, and minus 20% accuracy penalty at night, and the 200% tower spotting. Gen 2 gives you 220 tower spotting, 35 gun aiming speed, 60% long range, and minus 22% accuracy penalty. So whereas Gen 1 to Gen 2, that's doubled, Gen 2 to Gen 3 is much more marginal. And expensive. But yeah, that's really interesting. And the AI has messed around with the stuff over here as well. My goodness. Okay, the other thing I was curious about was if those alliances were locked. So I'm going to start a new campaign as the British in 1940. And let's see if we get a different set of alliances, and how that pans out, because I am very, very curious indeed. And I wonder if we can refit ships that we already have as well. I might be able to see the refit mechanics if I start the game here, because it would. Oh, I should have done auto-generated for that, shouldn't I? Oh, bugger. Never mind. I'll probably have to do an entire video on refit mechanics once I actually get access, once I've had a chance to play around with them. I wonder if... well, I'll tell you what, I'll have a look at this at the alliances, and then I'll see if I can do an auto-generated fleet and see if I get access to the refit button. And if we can go in and refit ships, because that would be interesting to see. But I just want to see what happens if we load in, and what happens with all the alliances and stuff. Again, load times on the betas tend to be a little bit funky, but hopefully it'll go past February 1935. Come on, go past February 1935. Come on, come on. You know you want to. Yeah, there we go. Oh my goodness. April now being the slow one. Come on now. Come on. Come on, go past April. Nope, you don't want to go past April. See, this is where I'm worried to click. I can hear the game whirring away in the background. Yeah, it's maybe pushing it a bit to do it this. Come on. Come on. There we go. May. Good. Good. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this will not be optimized at all, which is why it's taking a while. Come on. Good game. Good game. Okay, I'll know to cut out the campaign loading screen next time. Jesus. Ugh. August. Okay, good. My word. I guess there's a lot more going on for the game to calculate, because it's got those 3 extra nations. Tell you what, I'll pause the recording here and I'll come back. Maybe. No, it's going to take ages for me to bloody re-render the video. No, sod it. I'll wait. I'll chat about nonsense. You can let me know in the comments what do you think of the new features in the patch. What else can I promote? Oh yes, I have a Patreon. Please join the Patreon. It helps enormously with doing this sort of stuff. Helps me support the channel, and I'm currently saving all the Patreon money I get to build a new computer so that I can stream in higher resolutions and do more cool stuff. What else? Discord. Yes, join the Discord. Discord is good. Okay, still on October. Link in the description of the video for both those things. Okay, this is taking forever. I'm going to pause the recording and I will come back. Ah, okay, welcome back. That took ages. But I actually went back and I did an auto-generated fleet, so we should have... Yep, we already have ships. So I'll have a look at that in a second. And this is the 1930 UK campaign. So let's have a look at politics. So, yes, I think those alliances are locked. Germany and Austria-Hungary versus Britain, France and Italy. No matter what date you start at, which is interesting, very interesting. I wonder how good your allies are or aren't. That could be very interesting indeed. Right, let's have a look at our fleet. I'm not seeing the refit button. I might have to research something before that shows up. I do have 2 months before I get a new cruiser design, but that's not going to be much help. So yeah, I will show off refits once I actually work out how to access them. It could of course be suspended for now, but that is interesting that we have that. And just trying to look as well for anything new. There are no new hulls currently in the beta, by the way. The beta patches, so that Italian super battleship I was looking at earlier, that's not a new ship. I'd just forgotten it existed. The idea behind that is with the betas is you receive a bunch of kind of, I call them stealth patches. I will cover the new hulls once 105 is no longer in beta, once it actually comes out to the main Steam arc. But I will definitely be covering these new campaigns as soon as I can. I'm really, really excited about this. It's really cool. Where the hell are all my ships? Oh, there you go. You've got a pretty big force in Sunderland. But other than that, the British really auto-generated fleet. 1 battleship, 2 battlecruisers. Bloody hell. It's not very much. Took about a tough start. That's a bit of mean. And that 1 battleship, but its hood would be bloody amazing. Let's have a look here. Well, it's interesting. Wouldn't say it's great. Armor, it's not terrible. Interesting. Interesting. Anyway, lots of new stuff to explore. Loads of new content coming out. You can expect to see. I will be streaming this on Twitch in about 12 hours time or so, because I need to get some sleep. I will be showing off the new campaigns. As I said, I will be doing France first, then Italy, then Austria-Hungary, then Italy, and I might do some stuff off camera. I might see if I can use the text bug to unlock some things, because I'm pretty sure I can still do that. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you again very, very soon for some more Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Bye for now.